Ha 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 ho! Hello there! It is so good to be with you. It's me, Santa Claus, speaking to you from my favorite chair here at the North Pole. The fire is crackling nicely, and the workshop is humming with that familiar happy sound of Christmas being made. I thought it might be nice, you and I, to just sit for a while, to share some time together. This isn't a short visit, oh no, we have plenty of time. I wanted to create a place where you can settle in and feel the warmth of the season, no matter what you're doing. Over our time together, I'll be sharing some stories from my many, many years. Tales of the elves, the reindeer, and the wonderful magic that fills this place. I also have a lovely collection of your letters, full of questions that I'll do my very best to answer. And now and then, I'll share a few thoughts that I hope might bring a little bit of comfort and joy. So, I invite you to relax. There is no need to rush. Whether you are busy with preparations or simply taking a quiet moment for yourself, I hope my voice can be a peaceful companion. It truly warms my old heart to know you're listening. I am so very glad you're here.
Have you ever found yourself sitting around a wonderful holiday table, holding one end of a colorful paper tube while a friend holds the other? You both give a little tug and suddenly, crack! What a delightful little surprise! Ah, the Christmas cracker! It's a tradition that brings such a wonderful burst of fun to any meal. Inside that little paper package, you find such treasures. A paper crown, which I must say looks splendid on everyone, from the littlest ones to the grandest of grandparents. There's always a tiny little gift, something to make you smile. And of course, my favorite part, a silly joke. Oh, the groans and chuckles they bring are some of the best sounds of the season. It all started, you see, with a very clever sweet maker in London a long, long time ago. His name was Tom Smith. He was inspired by some lovely little French sweets that came wrapped in paper. He thought, how can I make my treats even more exciting? He loved the sound of a log popping in a warm fire, and that gave him the most wonderful idea. He found a way to make a little strip of paper go snap when it was pulled apart. It was his sons who later thought to add the paper hats, and I'm so glad they did. It turned a simple treat into a moment of shared fun and silliness. And isn't that what it's truly all about? It's not really about the little trinket inside, is it? It's about that moment. The moment two people pull together, the shared jump at the little pop, and the laughter that fills the air. It's a reminder that the greatest joy often comes in the smallest, most surprising packages, shared with the people we love. A simple, cracking good idea.
It always brings such a smile to my face when I look over this tall stack of letters, not the ones with lists of toys, but the ones filled with your questions. The world is so full of wonder, isn't it? Let's see what we have here today. This first one is from a pastry chef named Antonio. He asks, what is Mrs. Claus's most amazing creation in the kitchen, besides her world-famous cookies? Does she have a secret specialty? Ho, ho, ho! Antonio, a wonderful question from a fellow creator. My dear Mrs. Claus is indeed known for her cookies, but her true masterpiece, that is something she calls solstice tarts. She only makes them once a year on the longest night. The crust is made from finely ground gingerbread stars, but the filling is made from the crystallized light of the winter moon, sweetened with a syrup tapped from the singing sugar maples that grow only on the quietest hill of the North Pole. When you take a bite, it doesn't just taste sweet. It tastes like warmth, like a happy memory, like the feeling of waking up to a world covered in fresh snow. That, my friend, is her secret. And here we have a marvelous question from young Oscar, who is 8 years old. Oscar asks, do the elves have an orchestra that plays music on instruments made entirely of ice and snow? Oscar, they certainly do. It's called the Frostwind Philharmonic, and it is a sight to behold. The conductor uses a wand of pure, clear icicle to lead them. They have flutes carved from frozen river reeds that sound like the winter wind whistling through the pines. The drums, made of deeply packed snow, have a soft booming sound, like a giant's muffled heartbeat. And the chimes, oh, the icicle chimes, they ring with a sound so clear and pure, it can make the northern lights dance in rhythm. They don't play written music, you see. They play the music of the season itself. The quiet hush of a snowfall, the joyful crackle of a fire. It is beautiful. Thank you, Antonio and Oscar, for those marvelous questions. Always keep that spark of curiosity alive. It's what fills the world with magic. Oh.
You know, the workshop is always humming with a happy energy, but there's a particular kind of cheerful commotion that comes from the gift wrapping room. And it often has to do with a little long-running debate between myself and my dear Mrs. Claus. It's a friendly one, I assure you. You see, we have two very different philosophies when it comes to wrapping a present. I am a believer in efficiency. A good, crisp fold, sharp corners, not an inch of wasted paper. It should be tidy, practical, and ready for the sleigh. Mrs. Claus, well, she sees it as an art form. She believes the wrapping is the first part of the gift. She'll say, "Oh, Nicholas, it needs more ribbon! A cascade of ribbon!" Her presents are masterpieces of joyful, charming imperfection. A little crooked here, a giant, spectacular bow there. She says it shows it was wrapped with love, not with a ruler. We sometimes take a stroll through the wrapping stations to inspect the elves' work. I'll point to a box and say, "Now that's a perfect corner," while she'll be 2 tables down, showing a young elf how to make a bow that looks like a winter rose. The elves are very diplomatic about it all. They've developed a lovely tradition. Each year, they'll pick one toy and wrap two identical versions. One is for my inspection, perfectly crisp and efficient. The other is for hers, a magnificent creation with loops of silk and glittering ribbon. They hold them up side by side and with a twinkle in their eyes declare it a tie. And they are right, of course. In the end, it's not about the paper or the bows. It's about the love that goes into it. And her way of thinking, well, it reminds my practical old heart what matters most.
One of my very favorite sounds in the whole world is laughter echoing through the workshop. The elves have such wonderful tinkling laughs. It reminds me that even when we are busy, a moment of good cheer is a gift in itself. I've collected a few little riddles over the years, and I thought I might share one or two with you. Let's see now. Here is one that lights up the room. What did the Christmas lights say to the power outlet? You keep me grounded. Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that one always makes me smile. It's quite true, isn't it? We all need something or someone to keep us connected to what's real and true. It's a very wise little joke. All right. How about this one? It's perfect for a frosty morning. What is a snowman's favorite currency? Cold hard cash. Oh, a little chuckle for that one. I do wonder what a snowman would buy with it. A spare button, perhaps, or maybe a sturdier hat to keep the sun away. It's fun to think about. And for the last one, this one is for celebrating our friends. What do you sing at a snowman's birthday party? It Frieza, a jolly good fellow. Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that is a good one. It always gets a full-bellied laugh from me. What a wonderful thought, celebrating a friend made of snow and sunshine. Ah. A good laugh. It's a wonderful thing. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you are from. Sharing a moment of joy is one of the purest forms of kindness there is. It's a little spark of magic we can give to each other every single day.
I am often asked a very good question, a question that makes me smile. How in one single night can my reindeer and I visit so many homes all around the world? It seems quite impossible, doesn't it? Well, the secret isn't about moving faster. Oh no! It's about having a little more time. You see, hanging right at the very front of my sleigh is an old brass lantern. We call it the Time-Twinkling sleigh lantern. It may not look like much, but inside it holds one of the North Pole's greatest wonders, a chrono crystal.
The elves find these crystals only in the deepest, oldest ice caves, where time itself seems to have been resting for ages. When we begin our flight on Christmas Eve, the crystal awakens. It fills the lantern with the most beautiful shimmering light. This light isn't just for seeing through the snow, you see. It creates a wonderful, shimmering bubble all around the sleigh and the reindeer. Inside this bubble, we are in our own special Christmas Eve time. And in that place, everything slows to a lovely, peaceful crawl. For us, a single minute can stretch into what feels like an hour. It gives us all the moments we need to land softly on each rooftop, to check the list, to make sure every gift is just right. And all the while, for the sleeping world outside our little bubble of light, the night passes by in a soft and quiet blink. It's just one of the many secrets that make our journey possible. The magic of Christmas isn't one big grand thing, but countless small wonders, all working together in perfect harmony. From the reindeer's flight to the lantern's glow, each has its part to play in that beautiful, silent night. Some evenings, as I sit here with the mail from around the world, a particular letter just seems to find its way to the top of the pile. This one, it has a little picture taped to it, a bit fuzzy, but I can make out the face of a fine-looking cat. Let's see what it says. Dear Santa, I don't want any toys this year. I just have one big wish. My cat, Stardust, is lost. He's been gone for a whole month, and I miss him so much. He is mostly black, but has one white paw, like he stepped in a puddle of moonlight. When you are flying on Christmas Eve, could you and your reindeer please keep a special lookout for him? Maybe you could whisper to him the way back home. That is all I want. Thank you. Love, Maya. Oh, my dear Maya, a wish like this holds a special kind of magic. It's a wish made not of wants, but of love. And love, you see, is the most powerful light in the entire universe. It stretches and shines, a warm, invisible thread that connects one heart to another, no matter how much distance is between them. Stardust is part of your family, and a love like that doesn't just disappear. It becomes a beacon. The reindeer and I, well, we have very good eyes for spotting things from high above. And we have even better ears for hearing the whispers of a hopeful heart. We will certainly keep a lookout for a little shadow with a min-dipped paw. So you keep that light of hope shining in your heart for him, little one. Animals have a remarkable way of feeling that love, like a warm compass pointing them home. We will be watching for your friend on our journey. We surely will. I do enjoy a good puzzle now and then. It keeps the mind sharp, you know, especially after all these years. I was just thinking of a few. Perhaps you'd like to try and solve one with me. All right, here is the first one. It cannot be touched, and it cannot be seen. And yet it makes people generous, kind, and much less mean. It fills every heart with such warmth, joy, and goodwill. What could it be? Oh, that is a wonderful one. It's something I am so fortunate to see all over the world this time of year. Now, if you need a little clue, think of the feeling of kindness and cheer that seems to grow and grow as the holidays get closer. Did you guess it? It's the Christmas spirit, of course. Ah, yes. You can't wrap it in a box, but it is truly the greatest gift of all. Ready for another? This one always makes my tummy rumble. It's a small round pastry with a wonderfully festive taste. It's filled with sweet, spiced fruits and always made without any haste. It's a traditional treat from a long, long time ago. What is it? Mrs. Claus makes the very best ones, you know. Here's a little secret. Though its name might suggest meat, it's really a sweet dessert. That's right, a mince pie. Oh, there is nothing quite like one, warm from the oven on a snowy evening. A perfect little bite of Christmas. That was fun, wasn't it? A good riddle is like a little gift for the mind. It makes you pause and see the world in a slightly different, more wonderful way.
You know, even with all the hustle and bustle here at the pole, Mrs. Claus and I always make time for our own little adventures. Just the other day, we put on our warmest boots and journeyed deep, deep down below the workshop into the crystal caves. Ho-ho, what a sight that is! It's like walking through a frozen rainbow. The caves are filled with what the elves call heart crystals, and they pulse with a beautiful, steady light. They're what keeps my sleigh's compass pointing true, you see. They run on happiness. We were wandering through a quiet cavern, the only sound being the crunch of our boots on the crystal dust, when Mrs. Claus stopped. She pointed to a little nook, and there, all by itself, was a small crystal. But this one was dark. It had no inner fire at all. It looked a bit lonely, if a crystal can be lonely. I was about to move on, but Mrs. Claus, well, she has a special kind of wisdom. She smiled and whispered, "I think it just needs a little warmth. Let's hum it our favorite carol." So we stood there side by side in the immense quiet and began to hum Silent Night. Our voices together made a lovely sound, echoing softly off the shimmering walls. At first, nothing happened, but we kept on, and then I saw it. A faint, tiny pulse from the heart of the little crystal. A soft, warm glow. We smiled at each other and kept humming, and with every note the little crystal grew brighter and warmer until it was shining with a lovely, contented light.
We left that one right where it was to keep that little corner of the cave bright. It's a wonderful reminder, isn't it? Sometimes all it takes is sharing a little bit of warmth and a happy tune to make something or someone truly shine. What a marvelous day!
Ho, ho, ho! You know, one of the great joys of my annual journey is seeing all the wonderful ways families add their own special sparkle to the season. Every home has its own customs, its own little moments of magic that have been passed down through the years. It truly is a beautiful sight to behold from my sleigh. I was just thinking of a particularly delightful tradition I always look forward to seeing in Germany. They call it the Weihnachtskirche. Now that translates to, well, the Christmas pickle. Ho, 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 ho. It always brings a smile to my face. The idea is quite simple, but oh so much fun. A special ornament, shaped just like a little green pickle, is hidden somewhere deep within the branches of the Christmas tree. It can be very tricky to find, you see, as its green color blends in perfectly with the pine needles. Then, on Christmas morning, after all the presents have been discovered under the tree, a new search begins. All of the children carefully look through the branches, peering behind shiny baubles and strings of popcorn, searching for that one little pickle. The first one to spot it receives a wonderful reward, an extra little gift, and it's said they will have good fortune for the entire year to come. I just love this. It encourages everyone to slow down and truly look at the beauty of the tree, to appreciate every single branch and ornament. It's a wonderful little game that fills the morning with laughter and excitement. And isn't that just the way of the Christmas spirit? Whether it's a hidden pickle, a special song, or a plate of cookies left out for an old fellow in a red suit, it shows that love and joy can be found everywhere in so many different and beautiful forms all around the world. What a wondrous thing that is!
Listen to that! The wonderful sounds from the workshop filling the air. It reminds me of a very special story I hold dear. Would you like to hear it? It's a tale I call the Starfallen Bell. Many years ago, the elves found something truly remarkable in the snowy fields beyond our village. It was a tiny fragment of a fallen star, no bigger than my thumb, glowing with a soft silvery light. With the greatest care, they brought it to the forge and shaped it into a tiny, perfect bell. And its chime was unlike anything you've ever heard. It sounded like pure starlight turned into music. We placed it right at the very front of my sleigh, a place of honor. But a curious thing happened. It never made a sound. It listened to the hearty, joyful jingles of the other larger bells, the cheerful carols of the elves, and the happy laughter of the reindeer. The little bell grew afraid, you see. It thought to itself, "My little chime is so quiet, no one will ever hear it amongst all this wonderful noise. It will simply be lost." And so, out of shyness, it stayed silent. On the night before Christmas, as we prepared for our great journey, I noticed the little bell, quiet and still. I took it down and held it gently in my palm. It felt cool and full of a silent worry. I spoke to it, my voice a low rumble. "Little one," I said, "you think your voice is meant to be the loudest, but that isn't your purpose at all. Your chime is not for the boisterous celebration. It is for the moment after. It is the final note, the one that hangs in the quiet air to signal that the magic has truly begun." Later that night, as we landed upon the first snowy rooftop, a great hush fell over the world. The wind stopped its whisper, and all the other bells on the sleigh fell silent. And in that perfect, peaceful quiet, the little Starfallen bell finally rang. Just one clear silver note that sang through the winter air. It was the most beautiful sound. And that is a wonderful thing to remember, isn't it? Sometimes you might feel that your own voice is too small, that your kindness might go unnoticed in such a big world. But every single voice has its own perfect moment to be heard. Your part in the world's great song is so very important, and it is a sound that only you can make.
When the North Pole winds begin to whistle a particularly frosty tune, my thoughts often turn to the coziest things in life. It's in those moments I find myself thinking about the wonderful sweaters Mrs. Claus knits for me. Each one is a treasure, but I was just pondering which ones are my very top favorites. The first one that always comes to mind is my snowflake sweater. Oh, what a marvel it is! She has this incredible way with the yarn so that every single snowflake woven into the deep blue wool is different from the rest. It serves as a beautiful reminder that every child in the world is special and unique in their own way. And my oh my, does it ever keep the chill out on a long flight! Then there's my North Star cardigan. This one holds a very dear place in my heart. It's a handsome, sturdy cardigan, and on the back, right between my shoulders, she has woven a single bright star. She always tells me it glows with the warmth of home, a little beacon to help guide me and the reindeer safely back after our long Christmas journey. And I truly believe it does. And of course, I could not possibly forget my peppermint stripe vest. Ho, ho, ho! Now that is a cheerful one. It has broad, happy stripes of red and white, just like a fresh candy cane from the workshop. It's become a bit of a tradition, you see. I always wear it when the elves present the very first batch of candy canes for the season. It just wouldn't feel like Christmas was truly on its way without it. Each one, you see, is so much more than just wool and thread.
They are all woven with memories, with purpose, and with an abundance of love. It's a truly wonderful thing to be wrapped in such warmth.
Ah, Mrs. Claus. She has the most wonderful way of seeing straight to the heart of a matter, especially when I get a bit tangled up in my own beard, you might say. Ho, ho, ho! It happened just last week, in fact. The workshop was buzzing, but I had found a quiet corner for myself. A brilliant young elf named Ilara had designed a marvelous new creation, a little clockwork starling that could sing a different carol for every day of December. But for the life of me, I couldn't get its final wing to attach correctly. The more I struggled, the more my brow furrowed. I suppose my pride got in the way. After all these years, I should be able to assemble any toy, shouldn't I? Mrs. Claus came by, quiet as a falling snowflake, and simply watched me for a moment. She didn't say a word, just left and returned a minute later with young Ilara herself. I must admit, I felt a bit flustered. But then my dear wife placed a hand on my shoulder and said so kindly, "Even the head toy maker sometimes needs to ask for help with the instructions. There's no shame in not knowing. The real magic is in learning together." And just like that, all my stubbornness melted away. She was right, of course. Ilara showed me the little trick to it, and together we made that starling sing the most beautiful version of Silent Night I have ever heard. Her wisdom is one of the greatest gifts I have ever received. It reminds me that we are all part of the same workshop, all helping each other make the world a bit more magical. It's quiet moments like these, when the workshop is settled down for the night, that I get to spend time with my favorite book, The Great Ledger. And my, oh my, some of the entries that appear make my old heart simply glow. The golden ink swirls to tell the most wonderful stories, and I just saw one I had to share with you. This particular entry takes us all the way to a beautiful sunny beach on the coast of Australia. I can almost feel the warm sand. A family was packing up after a wonderful day, their laughter still hanging in the sea air. Now, they could have just shaken out their towels and headed home, but they did something quite special instead. They took out a spare bag, and for just 10 minutes, they walked along the shore, picking up the little bits of plastic and bottle caps that others had left behind. Now, that might not sound like a grand adventure, but to me, it is one of the most beautiful stories I've read all year. They weren't asked to do it. No one was there to give them a prize. They did it for the family that might visit the next day, and for the magnificent old sea turtles that swim in those very waters. Ho, ho! That is the truest spirit of giving, you see.
It's a quiet kindness. It's the simple, wonderful act of leaving a place a little better than you found it. Seeing things like that, it fills me with such a profound sense of hope for the world. It reminds me that goodness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's as simple and as powerful as a family on a beach, making the world a little brighter, one bottle cap at a time. It truly does a world of good.
Oh, hello there. Have you ever wondered about those beautiful plants with the deep red leaves that seem to pop up everywhere as Christmas draws near? The poinsettia. They look as though they've been painted for the season, don't they? With their star-shaped leaves of vibrant red and deep green, they bring such warmth and color to a home. Well, there is a most beautiful story that comes with them, a tale I've cherished for a very, very long time. It comes from the warm heart of Mexico, about a young girl named Petita. On Christmas Eve, she wanted so badly to bring a gift to the nativity service, but she had nothing to give. Her heart was heavy because she felt she had nothing special to offer. As she walked, an angel, seeing her pure heart, whispered to her that any gift given with true love is a precious gift indeed. Taking this to heart, little Pepita gathered a small handful of weeds from the side of the road, a humble bouquet, but one she picked with all the love she had. When she entered the chapel and placed her small offering at the altar, something truly magical happened. The simple green weeds blossomed into the most magnificent, brilliant red flowers. Ho, ho, ho! It just goes to show, doesn't it? The most powerful magic in all the world is a loving heart. It reminds me that the size of a gift never matters half as much as the size of the heart that gives it. And that is why, to this day, the poinsettia stands as a beautiful reminder of this truth. So, the next time you see one, perhaps you'll remember the story of that little girl's gift. And you'll see not just a lovely flower, but a symbol of how a little bit of love can make anything bloom with wonder.
The mailbag is overflowing again. It's one of my favorite parts of the day, settling in and reading all of your wonderful questions. It's a joy to see what you're all thinking about. Let's see what we have here today. This first one is from a young lady named Zoe, who is 7 years old and wants to be a veterinarian. What a wonderful dream, Zoe. You must have a great love for animals. She asks, how did you find your very first reindeer? What made you realize they were special and could fly? That is a lovely question, and it takes me back a long, long time. Before the famous 9, there was just one. I found him not in a grand herd, but all by himself, standing in a moonlit clearing deep in the forest. His coat was the color of snow in shadow. I was gathering fallen birchwood, and he simply watched me, unafraid. I spoke to him, and he took a step closer. There was an understanding between us. The moment I knew he was special, well, it wasn't a great bolt of lightning. It was quieter than that. A deep snowdrift blocked my path home, too high to climb. He looked at the drift, then back at me, and with a great, joyful leap, he just kept going. He didn't soar high into the sky, not at first. He just floated over the snow, his hooves barely whispering against the top, before landing softly on the other side. He looked back as if to say, "Well, are you coming?" It was our secret, a quiet miracle in the snow. Ho, ho, ho! Now for our next question. This comes from someone who knows a thing or two about the ticking of the clock, a clockmaker named Mr. Peterson. He asks, is there a magical loom in the workshop that weaves the very fabric of Christmas Eve's magic, allowing time to stretch so you can visit every home? Mr. Peterson, you have the soul of an inventor. A magical loom. You're very, very close. We do have something like that. It sits in a quiet corner of the workshop, tended by the eldest elves. It hums with a sound like starlight. It doesn't weave with wool or cotton, but with threads of pure kindness, threads of hope from a child's wish, and shimmering strands of moonlight collected on the solstice. On Christmas Eve, it weaves these threads into a great shimmering tapestry. It doesn't so much stretch time as it folds it. It creates pathways, you see. So the distance between a home in one corner of the world and a home in another becomes no longer than a single happy thought. You, as a clockmaker, understand the mechanics of time. Here at the pole, we just give it a little nudge with magic. Such marvelous questions. They fill my whole heart with such warmth. Thank you to Zoe and Mr. Peterson and to all of you who wonder. Never stop asking. Never stop being curious. It is the beginning of all magic. Ho, ho, ho! I was just thinking about my dear Mrs. Claus. She is, in so many ways, the true magic of this place. The elves and I, we build the toys, and the reindeer and I make the journey. But she keeps the North Pole's heart beating with wonder. You see, I must confess, I can be a bit of a traditionalist. Ho, 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 a bit, perhaps more than a bit. I like the old ways, the familiar rhythms, but Mrs. Claus, she is the spark of the new. She has a way of looking at something we've done for centuries and asking with the kindest smile, "But what if we tried this?" Without her forward-thinking spirit, I do believe our workshop might still be running on old coal-powered toy trains instead of the shimmering northern lights. I'll never forget the day she invented Giggle doll. I remember it so clearly. One of our youngest elves was looking a little downcast. His shoulders slumped over a wooden horse he was carving. Mrs. Claus saw him, and a thoughtful look came over her face. A little while later, she returned from her kitchen holding a soft, colorful ball of dough. She handed it to the little one, and when he gave it a squeeze, the dough let out a happy little giggle. Ho, ho, ho! The elf's face lit up like a Christmas morning sky. That's her gift. She doesn't just see a problem. She sees an opportunity for more joy. That giggle dough is now one of our most requested toys, all because she saw a single sad face and decided to fill the world with a little more laughter. She keeps my heart young and our home bright. She truly is my guiding star.
With all the busy sounds of the workshop, the little hammers tapping, the sewing machines humming, sometimes the best sound of all is a good, hearty laugh. It's like a warm cup of cocoa for the soul. I've heard a few little chuckles from the elves recently, and I thought I might share them with you. All right, here is the first one. What do you get if you cross a bell with a skunk? Jingle smells. Oh my, that one does make the reindeer snort. We have to be very careful to keep the workshop bells far away from our little striped forest friends. Here's another I heard near the dormitories. Why did the elf put his bed into the fireplace? He wanted to sleep like a log. Oh, I can just picture that. I do hope he remembered to make sure the fire was out first. A cozy room is one thing, but that might be taking it a bit too far. All right, just one more for you. What is red, white, and blue at Christmas time? A sad candy cane. Oh, poor little fellow. We can't have any sad candy canes now, can we? We must make sure they all feel included in the season's cheer. It does the heart good to share a smile. A little bit of laughter is one of the simplest and most wonderful gifts to share. It warms a room faster than any fire and reminds us of the joy that connects us all.
Ho, ho, ho! On a quiet night, if you listen very closely, you can almost hear the sound of starlight. But there is another sound, one that many of you have heard in your dreams, the sound of my sleigh bells on Christmas Eve. Have you ever wondered where that particular music comes from? You might think they are forged in the workshop, hammered into shape by the elves. But the truth, oh, the truth is something far more wonderful. You see, at the North Pole, we have a place tended to by Mrs. Claus herself. We call it the Jingle Bell Garden. It is where the most beautiful sounds are grown. It all begins with a single seed, a perfect captured bit of a child's laughter. Mrs. Claus plants this tiny spark of joy in the special soil rich with centuries of kindness. With a little of our midnight sun and a lot of caroling from the elves, a marvelous silver plant begins to grow. It spirals upward, its leaves like frosted silver, and then, at the very tip of each stem, a perfect, shimmering jingle bell blooms into existence. Ho ho! It's a sight to behold. Each one is unique, and when you ring it, it doesn't just make a note. It sings with the pure joy of the laugh it was grown from. That is the sound you hear on Christmas Eve. That is what encourages the reindeer and makes them fly ever higher. It's not just metal on a harness. It's a chorus of pure happiness, reminding them of why we make the journey. It's one of the many small, wondrous secrets that all work together year after year to make the magic of Christmas possible. A beautiful thought, isn't it?
Every now and then, a letter arrives that makes me stop everything. It's not a list of toys, you see. It's something else entirely. I have one right here. The paper has little snowflakes drawn all around the edges, and the handwriting is so very neat. Let's see what it says. Dear Santa, I know you are very busy getting ready for Christmas. I hope you and the reindeer are doing well. I also hope Mrs. Claus is having a good time. She must work very hard too. I wanted to give her a little gift. I wrote this poem for her on another piece of paper. I hope she likes it. Your friend, Oliver. And here it is, his little poem. Oh, this is wonderful. It says, the fire glows with orange light, making everything feel warm and bright. The smell of gingerbread fills the air, a happy feeling everywhere. Oh my, what a remarkable gift! You see, the most beautiful presents are not the ones I make in my workshop. They are the ones that come from a kind heart. A gift of words, a gift of thought. That is the purest magic of all. Oliver wasn't thinking about what he wanted to receive. He was thinking about what he could give. He thought of Mrs. Claus and how much she does for all of us here. I can tell you, when she reads this little poem, her smile will light up the entire North Pole. I shall put it right on the mantelpiece in our sitting room for her to find. Oliver, your thoughtful poem is a treasure. Thank you for reminding an old fellow like me about the true shining spirit of Christmas. It's found in kindness, just like yours. You know, sometimes after a long day checking the lists, I find a good puzzle is just the thing to brighten the mind. It's like a little spark of fun. I have a couple here with me.
Would you care to see if we can figure them out together? All right, here is the first one. Let's see. It was a humble bed, not made of wood or steel. It was filled with soft hay for a baby's first meal. It was the first resting place on a holy night. What is it? That one paints quite a peaceful picture, doesn't it? It speaks of stillness and great hope. If you're still thinking, here's a little clue for you. It's a central piece you will find in every nativity scene. Have you got it? Yes, that's right. It's the manger. A beautiful thought. It's a wonderful reminder that the most important things in this world often start in the simplest of places. Ready for another? This one makes me smile. It is a shape made in fresh powder, white and deep. It is created while on your back, not while you are asleep. It has 2 wings and a halo made by moving arms and legs. What is it? Oh, this brings back memories. I can almost feel the fluffy cold snow on my back. A wonderful feeling. Now, if you need a little nudge, think about this. You make this heavenly figure by lying right down in a fresh blanket of snow. Yes, it's a snow angel. Of course it is. There's nothing quite like seeing a field of them after a good snowfall. Each one is a little joy left behind for the world to see. Ah, that was fun. A good riddle is such a treat. It's a wonderful way to keep the mind curious and the heart light. It's a bit like finding a hidden present, isn't it?
There's nothing quite like a good project to keep the hands busy and the heart warm, especially when you have a wonderful partner to share it with. Just the other day, Mrs. Claus and I decided the Arctic terns deserved a new little resting spot before their long journey south. So we set out to build them the finest birdhouse at the North Pole. We found some beautiful silvery driftwood that had washed up on the northernmost shore, smooth as a skipping stone. We worked side by side in the workshop, the scent of pine and sea salt filling the air. I handled the careful sawing and hammering, and she, with her wonderful touch, decorated the roof with tiny old sleigh bells from a forgotten harness. They made the most delightful little jingle with every little breeze. Finally, it was done. We stood back to admire our work. Oh, it was a fine little home, sturdy, warm, and cheerful. I picked it up, feeling quite proud, ready to hang it on the old birch tree by the frozen pond. But as I held it, I stopped. I peered at the little round doorway we'd made, and then I peered at it again. Ho! It was entirely too small. Not even the most slender of terns could have squeezed through. My first thought was to fetch my tools to make the opening bigger, but Mrs. Claus just looked at it, and a lovely, knowing smile spread across her face. She reached into her apron pocket and pulled out a little red ribbon. Then, from another pocket, she produced the tiniest leftover gingerbread star. She simply tied that little cookie right to the perch. "There," she said with a twinkle in her eye, "a welcome snack.
and our apologies for the construction delay. What else could I do but laugh? It's funny, isn't it? The best memories aren't always when things go perfectly to plan. Sometimes it's the sweet and silly solutions you create together that truly make a moment special.
Ho, ho, ho! You know, one of the great joys of my work is seeing how the spirit of the season sparkles in so many different ways all around the world. Every home, every town has its own special way of celebrating, and each one is as beautiful as the next. My thoughts often drift to a special place, to the wonderful country of Sweden. There, on the 13th of December, they have a tradition that truly fills the heart with warmth. It is called St. Lucia's Day. Imagine waking up not to an alarm, but to a soft, radiant light. It is a festival of light in the deepest part of winter. Young girls dress in long white gowns with a bright red sash tied at the waist. And for the eldest daughter in the family, there is a very special honor. She wears a crown of evergreen twigs, and upon it, real lit candles. She becomes a bearer of light for her whole family. She moves quietly through the house, waking everyone by serving them warm coffee and delicious sweet saffron buns. Just thinking of the smell makes me smile. It's such a peaceful and glowing way to start the day, a gift of light and warmth from one to another. It's just so wonderful, isn't it? A reminder that the light of the season can be a candle in a crown, a shared sweet roll, or a simple act of kindness. The spirit of Christmas truly does shine brightly in every corner of the world. Ho, ho, ho!
Ho, ho, ho! I was just thinking about the wonderful aromas that often drift from Mrs. Claus's kitchen. Cinnamon, gingerbread, and something truly magical. It reminds me of a tale from right here at the North Pole. A story I call Mrs. Claus and the Grateful Cookbook. Now, in my wife's kitchen, there is a very special recipe book. Its leather cover is worn soft with time, but the pages inside are often blank. You see, this book doesn't share its secrets with just anyone. It only reveals its most wonderful recipes to a baker with a truly grateful heart. One year, a young elf named Finn was eager to learn the secret of the famous cookie of contentment. He was bright and quick, but always in such a hurry. He would rush to the book, tap his foot impatiently, and say, "All right, book, show me the recipe." But the pages would remain stubbornly perfectly empty. He tried adding more sugar, a different kind of spice, but his cookies were missing something. One afternoon, Mrs. Claus found him looking quite defeated. She simply smiled, and without a word, she walked to the cookbook. She placed her hand on its cover and spoke softly. "Thank you," she whispered, "for the fine flour from the pantry, for the sweet sugar, and for the warmth of this kitchen that will bake our treats." And as Finn watched, shimmering golden letters began to swirl onto the page, forming the recipe for the cookie of contentment. His eyes grew wide. He realized the missing ingredient wasn't an ingredient at all. The next day, he approached the book, took a slow, deep breath, and thought of his warm bed, his good friends, and the joy of making things. "Thank you," he said, and a true smile spread across his face. The golden letters appeared for him, shining brighter than ever. It's a lovely thought, isn't it, that thankfulness itself is the secret ingredient. It brings a special sweetness to everything we do, a warmth that can be tasted in a simple cookie, and a joy that can fill a room or even the whole world. Ho, ho, ho! A lesson we can all carry in our hearts.
I was just looking out my window here at the North Pole, watching the flurries drift down past the workshop. It put a thought in my head, and I've been smiling about it ever since. I was thinking about my top 3 favorite kinds of snow. My first favorite would have to be what the elves and I call packing snow. There is nothing quite like it. It's that wonderful, heavy snow that sticks together perfectly in your mittens. After a long day, the reindeer and I love to head out and roll it into big round balls to build cheerful little snow elves all around the village. Ho, ho, ho! They stand guard with their twig arms and carrot noses, watching over the workshops. Then there is the starlight powder snow. Oh, this one is pure magic. It's as light as a whisper, and it often falls just before the sun rises on Christmas morning, when my work is nearly done. It dusts every rooftop and tree branch with a fine layer of what looks like diamonds, all sparkling in the first light. Seeing the world glitter like that from high up in my sleigh, well, it's a sight that fills my old heart with joy every single year. And my third favorite, that would be the sleigh whisper snow. This is a very special kind indeed. It tends to fall only on Christmas Eve, and its flakes are so soft they make no sound at all. It lays a thick, quiet blanket over the whole world, hushing every street and rooftop. It helps make sure that the only sound is the faintest jingle of my sleigh bells as we fly by. So you see, not all snow is the same. Each one has its own purpose, its own little bit of wonder. Whether it's for play, for beauty, or for a silent Christmas Eve, each snowflake is a marvelous gift.
my dear Mrs. Claus. She has the most wonderful way of seeing the world, a way of finding the magic in a single moment. I can get so focused on the calendar and the lists and the great grand journey, but she always knows how to bring me back to the beauty of the here and now. I remember one evening, not so long ago. The workshop was quiet, and I had my star chart spread all across the great table in our cottage. I was tracing my route, you see, from star to star, making sure every constellation was in its proper place for the big night. My mind was up there, lost in the vastness of the sky. I was so busy looking up and out at the grand plan that I simply didn't see the masterpiece right there beside me. She came over, placed a warm hand on my shoulder, looked at the window, and said so kindly, "You're always looking for the North Star, love, but don't forget to enjoy the twinkle of the frost on the window pane." And just like that, she was right. Of course, she always is. I looked, and there it was, the most beautiful, intricate patterns of ice sparkling in the lamplight. Tiny, glittering forests and frozen rivers covering the glass. A whole world of wonder that would be gone by morning. It's a lovely thought to carry with you. It's so very important to have big dreams and to look toward your own North Star. But the real joy, well, so much of that is found in the little twinkles of frost along the way.
Ah, here we are. I've been spending some quiet time with the great ledger this evening. The ink on these pages, it positively glows with every new entry. I've just come across one that warmed my old heart right through, and I thought I might share it with you. My gaze travels far, far away to a quiet neighborhood in Sweden. The snow there has fallen thick and deep, blanketing everything in a peaceful white. And every morning, just as the sun begins to peek over the horizon, a newspaper is delivered to an elderly gentleman's home. But the snow is deep, and the paper often lands right at the bottom of a long, cold driveway. But then something wonderful happens. Every single morning, a young man who lives nearby on his way to work stops his walk. He trudges through the snow, picks up the paper, and walks it all the way up to his neighbor's doorstep, placing it right where it can be easily found. He asks for no thanks, seeks no reward. He simply sees a small need and fills it, day after day. Now, you see, this isn't a grand, sweeping gesture. There are no parades or shining lights for this sort of thing, and that is precisely what makes it so very special. This is the quiet magic of thoughtfulness. It's the simple act of noticing. It's seeing the world not just through your own eyes, but through the eyes of another, and thinking, how can I make their path a little easier today? Ho, ho, ho! It's these quiet moments of goodness, repeated over and over, that truly weave the world together with kindness. It fills me with such a profound pride and a boundless shining hope for all of you. It truly does.